Hey there, Biology 245. I just wanted to do a small tutorial for you all because I know, again, we went through class and everything was just so much for you. So I am standing at the home page, modules page for our class. I'm going to go to the home page just because I need to give you all the student view so we can move through in that view and you can see what I'm doing. All right, so as a student, this is what you normally come to. It's now removed all of my things. And what I wanted you to do, once again, is to note that your modules is your best thing. So what I did for organization purposes was I put all of the things you need for each week in a module. So for instance, you see the week of 9/1, which starts this Saturday. These are the materials that you need to work through during this week. So the first thing is chapter 1 from last week when we met. If you hadn't read it in your book or your ebook, this is a way for me to make sure you at least see the chapter. So I've gotten a Learn Smart for you. For that, it is worth 25 points and it's only 15 minutes worth. But remember, the Learn Smart decides how much more time you need based on how you answer the question. So if you're going through and guessing on the questions and getting them wrong, the Learn Smart keeps asking you questions that are similar until you get it right. So what will happen is that you will extend your own time because of your lack of knowledge. So when you do the Learn Smart, you do want to go ahead and pay close attention, especially if you want to do it in a timely manner. So you have chapter 1 from last week, and this week you have chapter 3, which is sales, and that's the big thing this week is sales. And to me, this is a review for you, but you may not see it as a review. You want to take it very seriously, and I understand. But it is just looking at the sales and learning all about that because, of course, that's the basis of any good science course. So once you have gone through and done the Learn Smarts, I would suggest you go ahead and you can click the arrow next to PowerPoints and it'll open up. And you want to then quickly review the PowerPoints for a lecture for chapter 1 and chapter 3. My way of thinking is that now you've gone through the Learn Smart, you know what the book says, now you're going through the PowerPoints just to solidify that information, and so that gives you a good grounding for the first 2 chapters that we're talking about. The next thing, once you've done all of that, you want to then go to your APR. And so I have a code here. The code just is what we'll use for you to actually know the things that I want you to pay close attention to. Now, remember in class I said me giving you a list is just 3/4 of the way. If you are looking to really make that top level grade and go beyond, you will then go and look through everything you're on your own, or at least try and breeze through some of the other material in APR. All right, so with this, it tells you to go to a particular website and put in this code. Well, because we have the website already embedded in our Canvas, you don't actually have to type in this. What we will do, though, is we'll go over here to McGraw-Hill, like we did in class. This is the way we connect to our course, and then you'll connect to your class. And once you're in your class, you can then go ahead and connect over to the Learn Smart itself, the APR itself. So because it's not letting me go through, I'm going to have to leave student view because it doesn't recognize me as Dr. Walthall, and try this again. All right. So I'm going to go to my Connect section. And again, you're going to scroll down under my picture. And you'll see the cadaver dissection, which is your APR. So you'll click on that. The screen will come up. And now we're getting into what we need to do. So you want to now click on the My button, the green button here. And then it will say add or delete a list. So for you first starting out, you want to add a list. And then you want to click add a list again. And then you'll go and you'll take that I really thought I had put it, but you'll take the code that you saw here. So because it's going to make you jump through hoops, you may want to either write it down or download it so that you have it as a PDF already in your computer. Either way, you're going to have to type it in, because I realized that if I tried to highlight it, copy, and paste it into the APR, it wouldn't allow it. So, starting back, you have the code, you've written it down, you're now over here in your APR, and you want to enter the code itself. When you enter the code, which I've already done for the class, you'll see it become a part of your list. You won't have a list like I have the list, because I've entered all these codes. But every time I give you a code, the APR will save it. So we'll click on sales, because that's what we want to do. And we want to select the list. And so now it is now telling you everything that I placed on the list. So you'll go and say select modules. And for this particular one, you're going to do module 1 and 2. So you'll click on module 1, and it now lists everything that I've said to look at under module 1. All right. So anytime you look at something, it'll go ahead and put a check mark by it. So if I start out with an abdominal cavity, it'll put a check by it. Cranial cavity, mediastinum, pelvic cavity, pulmonary cavity, and so on and so forth. So as you see, as I go through, it then goes ahead and puts a check mark by it. All right. So once you've done body orientation, you then for sales want to do sales and chemistry, which is number 2. So you'll go to sales and chemistry, and then you'll begin to see all of the things that I'm asking you to look for in that particular one. So we're looking at dissection. Now we're going to see what the glycocalyx looks like. The glycocalyx is all of these things that are highlighted in green. Glycolipids, again, very similar to the glycocalyx. Glycoproteins, which are embedded inside the membrane. The inner leaflet of the lipid bilayer. Integral membrane proteins in the lipid bilayer, the lipid bilayer itself. So all of those are the lipid bilayer. Membrane channel pore, those that are going through that protein. So on and so forth. So you may want to go through this a couple of times, because it's, again, going to be a review for most of you. If you already think you know it, you don't have to. But this is just me giving you a list of all the things that I think you should look at concerning the cell. So once you've gone through this entire list, you covered what's in 1 and you covered what's in 2, you are now ready to take your quiz, or you're ready to take your quiz knowing 3/4 of the knowledge. So you may say, well, Dr. Walthall, what if I want to learn 100% of the knowledge? All right, so then you have to go back to number 1, and instead of doing the my, you want to start this out doing just the module itself. So instead of clicking on my, you want to just do body orientation, and you want to select the dissection. And then you'll go through, you want all content now, and not just the my content. And then you'll start yourself out body positions, and you'll go ahead and work through those. That's that anatomical position, the prone position, and the supine position. And so now you've seen things that may have not been on the first one. And so again, this is a way for you to go through and say, hey, I want to learn a little more. So planes of section. This may not be on the other one, but again, I'm looking to see, are you playing around? Are you going through? Are you seeing a little more than I've said to see? So, and it doesn't take long. So we're going to look and see what the coronal plane looks like. And you see that's when you're dividing the body in half, front and back. And then mid-sagittal plane is, again, it's off the midline. So I know you're like, oh, this looks just like the coronal plane. Well, it's a little behind the coronal plane. Mid-sagittal means just off the middle a little. And then you go on and look at the oblique. And the oblique, of course, you see is a diagonal, cutting the body into top and bottom. Then you have a sagittal plane, which, of course, once again, cuts the body in half. But it doesn't cut the body, it cuts it whereas to left and right. Hey, that's the right way. And then transverse. Transverse, of course, is going to cut the body again to top and bottom, but not at an angle like oblique did. And so now we've learned a few things that we did not know before, and we may want to continue. You may want to look at your directional terms, knowing your anterior versus your posterior. Let me see if I get that. So anterior is front where your posterior is back. So it's going through those, and it doesn't take you that long, but it's one of those extra steps. So once you've done that, you've gone through, you've looked at body orientation, you've looked at cells and chemistry on your own and with the MI. And so I'm just going to take a quick look so you can see what the all content looks like. And of course we did some of this in class, but it goes, say for instance, we just want to look at the nucleus and look at the nuclear pore. If we wanted to look at the nucleus itself, and the nucleolus, which is one of my favorite. I don't know why, but it is. Either way, we've taken a look now at some things that may not have been in the My section. And I know you're saying, oh, Dr. Bartholomew, why would you do that? Well, it is because you're going to have to always push yourself to go a little bit beyond. I can take you so far, but then it's also that part of you that's going to have to take yourself to that next level. And that's going to be throughout your nursing career. So you can't rely on your professor to be your only source of knowledge. You have got to gain a little more for yourself so that you can ensure that you know the maximum. And it'll get to be a lot. And as you go through, you'll learn how to skim off some things because you'll learn the professor. And so you'll begin to see what kind of things they think are important based upon their exams. All right, I've given you my spiel, blah, blah, blah. You've gone through all your APRs. And so you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready. So when you're ready, you know you've gone through everything in that APR. You've gone through the body orientation part. You've gone through the cell part. So now you're ready for your quiz. And so you'll come over here. You'll click on APR cell quiz. And then you'll take the quiz based upon all the things that you saw while you were going through your APR. Once you do that, you'll be finished and ready to go. And I'll try in every week, at least for the first couple of weeks, do a video to try and help you manage what you're doing or how you should go about it, or just a little pep talk as you may think. But as we move further on into September and definitely by October, I'll leave you to understand based upon our pattern how you should navigate through everything. All right, well, I hope this video was helpful. For those who have Zoom, I will see you all group 1 and 2 on tomorrow. And the others, you all should get an invitation from me probably tomorrow that will then set you up to see me next Saturday. If there are any questions, as you've been doing, go ahead and send me an inbox and I'll try and get to you as soon as I can. Have a great holiday weekend, and we will talk shortly.